This
experience.
conference will now be recorded.
So 1 or 2 year experience is good, but then if you want to be a domain expert, that's when they need to have more experience from you.
Okay, okay. So, I mean, some of the things that most of them are looking is, some process like technical process, like it says to have a knowledge of Visio more
Hmm.
and uh, URS. What does that mean, URS?
Use case you're saying, or
No, one says Visio, VISIO.
yeah, Visio. Yeah, Visio is a tool using
Mm-hmm.
which so we'll be learning few techniques in the course. So Visio is
Okay.
a tool using which you can create those things. Okay, so it is a visual tool where you can create different processes and all. So we will,
Oh.
yeah. So though it's not included in original this thing, we can spend 1 day on that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Apart from that,
I mean, basically, it asks all this, technical knowledge of all this technical stuff. So that's what I wanted to know. I mean, there was one says URS. What does that mean, URS?
uh, what is the spelling?
URS, umbrella, R for Rocky, S for Sam. URS.
Uh, can you user requirement specification? I think user requirement specification. That is
Requirement
nothing but
specification. Oh, okay, okay, okay,
yeah,
okay. So they're putting a
yeah,
short form.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So user spec. So what user gives you, you also call them as requirements,
Oh, okay,
functional
so that
requirements,
that's fine. Yeah,
non-functional
that's
requirements.
understandable.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Yep. So uh, any such thing, just uh, save it. Okay, and we can go through them.
Hmm.
So Visual is a good catch. So we will do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So coming back here, so this is what we were discussing yesterday. So as a business analyst, you are that person in the with the tie, uh,
Hmm.
lying down the red tie, and on top of you, you have the business team and the technical team. So you become that liaison. Okay. And so you help them to communicate. So the same thing that you were talking yesterday, that BA is everywhere. So if you look at BA is the only person who talks to everyone,
Hmm.
right? So this is what the picture says. Okay. So now for next few minutes, what we'll do is we'll try to solve a problem. Okay. So these are one line description of a problem, and we can create our own story around it. Okay. Let's create our own story around it. Okay.
Hmm.
And then we'll try to solve. I'll just try to answer the. I'll just give an example for first one, and second and third we can try, and the other three we can take it as a homework kind of thing,
Hmm.
and tomorrow we can discuss. So, and again, it's just one line, and we can create our own story. Our story should be in line with the one line. Okay.
Okay.
So, problems getting orders from customers 24 hours a day. Okay. Uh, Problem getting orders. So from customers 24 hours. So the customer is probably some kind of B2C business, business to customer, and
Mhm.
they are able to take orders 24 hours, but they have problem in getting 24 hours. That means they are able to get it, but there is some problem, right?
Mhm.
So I just take an example of, let's say, any pizza delivery company, right? So
Mhm.
they make pizza and they deliver, and they can take order from online, phone, right? And
Mhm.
there's a problem in that. And the problem I'm trying to define on my own is that um, so the customers are complaining that we are placing order from website, order is being taken, I get, the payment is deducted, or I get the order confirmation, but there's no one to deliver. And when I call them
Mhm.
to check, they say that no, we did not receive your order,
Mhm.
right? So what happens? And they want to fix that. So they called you as a BA to
Mhm.
find the problem, right? So how would you approach it? So uh, so when you go and when you look at the data, right? So you
Mhm.
look at the data, you see that all such complaints that came had placed order between 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Let's say, okay.
Mhm.
So all those orders were between 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. Customers to place the order, but order is placed, but that confirmation, so the communication, like, in the database, or you know the internal communication where the information is sent to the individual store, that communication did not happen, right?
Mhm.
So what they figured out was that the website was designed to handle, let's say, 1000 customers at any given point of time. Okay, concurrent users, you call them, right? So at one
Mhm.
point, any point, only 1000 users could log in. And based on the data, you saw that, and since website may be old, now you are between 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. You are getting 2,500, customers are logging in at any point of time. Okay, three times of what was the website designed for. Okay, so what is happening is there are few customers, they are not able to even place the order. Now, if I'm not
Mhm.
able to place the order, I probably will not call, Domino's. I'll probably order from somewhere else. I'll call
Mhm.
from Pizza Hut or somewhere. So, see, at least these guys. So there are some people who could place the order, but because of overload of the server, the process was to fail in midway.
Mhm.
Okay, and then some people could place the order successfully. So the people who place the order successfully would not complain, right? I mean, they would, who got the order would not complain. People who were not able to place the order, right, they would switch to something else. Okay, they would not call you back. People who could place the order but they did not receive, they will only complain, right? So now that
Mhm.
when you went into it, you are seeing that not only you have angry customer, but you are losing business for so many days
That's
without your
right.
knowledge,
Mhm.
right? So your website is old enough, so nobody monitored, the performance of the website, and because of which these problems occur. So now you want to update. Now you want to upgrade the website. So this is how you would approach any problem, right? So
Mhm.
you'll go first, you analyze the problem, find out the root cause, why it's happening, and then fix the root cause. So root cause is
Mhm.
the website is not,
Functioning.
yeah,
It's not up to date, basically. Yeah.
it's not up to date. Yeah, the load is more than that it can handle. That's why
Mhm.
servers are failing. So now you have a new project where you will change the hardware, improve the website, and within say couple of months your website is up and running. Okay, so this is one example where I created a story and then I tried to solve the problem.
Mhm.
So now can you read the second line and take a minute, create your own story, and we'll try to talk about it.
Mhm. So it says problems planning production amount to satisfy customer demands. So yeah, so basically this is a case where I mean day by day your customer are increasing, and the amount of product that stays is the same. So basically, when the customer comes in, so yeah, I mean, let's say in a similar scenario, if I could say is um, in a store where they sell, uh, let's say a hot deli where they are serving the soups and everything, and the French fries and all that stuff, but they only make certain amount a day. But by the lunch time, everything goes out, and when the real customer comes in during the lunch time, half of the soups are gone, and there are customer who waits for it, and they say, "Oh, we don't have any more." So they basically lose the customers in that way, as well as there are some who don't even have anything, and they'll be like, "Okay, let's go to a different store," and they never come back. Just like the way you said earlier. So in this scenario, basically, it's an issue of production. They only made a limited amount of product,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and that doesn't satisfy their demand,
Exactly,
basically.
right.
So,
Yeah.
here is the problem where they have to look for, look for a production amount increase uh, in compared to the customer demand. So main
Yeah.
thing that they have to work on is what they should be doing, or I mean, how much amount of extra soup and other stuff that they should make so that it should last, or it should serve enough until the lunchtime, because that's when the main demand is. So yeah, basically in production side, they'll have to look for the raw materials and everything, and even the enough amount of staffing solutions so to create that much amount of food, so that should last till uh, the customers are there. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in ours too, it happens basically. I mean, there are days when it was happening in my store, I could say, where um, ours was a very busy store, and when the patient comes in to get their prescriptions, it wasn't ready, or uh, we just say that, oh, we don't have enough, or we'll have to order it. So those customers have to go back. Some just complain saying that, oh, you never have it in stock, or I have to wait for so long and it still isn't there and stuff. So in order to mitigate this problem, what we had looked for is two different factors, how to fix this. So first thing we did is the customers who complains is saying that, oh, you never have it in stock all the time, and we have to wait for a day or two to have it come. So we looked and segregated I mean, our products depending on their usage. Which product goes more in a month? Let's say if we are dispensing this medication, 1,000 tablets a month, and we only keep our inventory shows that we only keep minimum threshold of 200 bottles. I mean, 200 tablets on hand. So that's not enough to satisfy our usage. So we basically what we did is we raised our inventory threshold and started keeping those products that was fast movers. And
Mm-hmm.
the second thing we did was, labor. So we increased the labor, but there were times when even that also wasn't helping us. So in order to avoid that, when patient comes in a group of 15 or uh, 10, then you have to serve 10 people in half an hour, and you can reach those many people with just two or three staff members. So to solve that, what we had done was there basically this problem was arising in accounting and stuff. So we have spoke with our director and stuff, and they thought that okay, this is the store that requires a robot to, you know, do the supply faster way. And they had got us a robot, and which basically counts the pills, put it in the bottle,
Okay.
and label it up. So when when another employee counts a pill, a robot also counts another prescription. So at a time you get like two, three patients get stuff get done within a minute, where it was taking 15 minutes for two, three patients. And now, patients don't have to wait, they don't have to line up for too long, or they don't have to come for next day and stuff. And I mean that's how we created. I mean, we have solved our problem.
Hmm. Correct. Yeah. So the same thing, what goes is first understand where which products are we, you know, we are not able to meet those timelines,
Hmm.
and based on that we take decision.
Hmm.
Okay. Yeah. So we look at the next one.
This problem: reducing inventory, holding cost, and obtaining supplies discount. Problems: reducing inventory, holding cost, and obtaining supplier discount. Okay, so I mean, yeah, this was another case where last year in our store, the inventory, I mean, 2 years ago, the store has an inventory of over $250,000 worth of product. And they said, oh, your inventory level is more than 30%. Your inventory should have been only at $180,000. So you have to work on basically it's holding up the amount, the liquid amount. And each store, if it holds up like this, it takes up so much of a amount of the company into the inventory basically. Uh, so in order to bring it down, what we have to do is the same way that we had seen that, oh, some of the products that we don't even dispense within 6 months, and we still carry on the stock. So for those
Right.
products, what we had done is whenever those kind of patient comes in, we tell them that okay, this is something that we are not carrying it, but we can order it for you, and it should arrive by next day. So rather than keeping a product of $2,000 or $1,000 worth of product and holding up our inventory, what we had done is we got rid of those products first, and then next time onwards, whenever those kind of prescription comes in, we tell those patients that okay, this is something very expensive and we don't usually carry it, but we'll get it for you next day. So that's how we cut down on our inventory. Second thing we did was we tried finding our other stores who was looking for those products that we are not using, and the one who was looking for it, we had shipped those products out to them. So that's how we cut down on our inventory levels. And basically all the expensive products over $500 or $1,000 worth of medication, we started cutting down on our inventory, uh, depending on their usage. And
Right.
what is this? Obtaining supplier discounts?
Yeah.
Hmm, holding costs and obtaining supplier discounts. Yeah, I think it's the same way, right? I mean, sometimes you get uh, we get some deals where, when we buy 5 or 6 bottles of some, just for an example, let's say when we buy 5 or 6 bottles of ibuprofen, which is, I mean, what do you call in India? I mean, Advil, no, Advil is our product, but yeah, paracetamol, let's say, yeah. So let's say if we buy 5 bottles, they offer us a deal saying that okay, when you buy 2 bottles, you get the third one free,
Right, right,
right?
right.
So that's a supplier discount. To get that supplier discount, sometime you order more products, but if you're not going through that much,
Yeah,
it's good not to order that many.
correct. Exactly. That's the point. So the overall cost you have to look at. Yeah. So Sujal, I'll take 15 minutes break as I told you earlier. I'll be back in 15 minutes. So we'll see you in 15 minutes.
Okay,
Okay. So
okay, no worries. I'll wait for you.
I'll just mute myself and Sujal, you there?
Yes.
Great. So let's start. Let's
Mhm.
start. Sorry, I got late. Yeah. So you should be able to see my screen.
Wait just a sec. Yes.
Great. So what I was saying is, you know, uh, just a closing comment. Yeah. So we have to decide. But if you buy more, of course, you get discount. But then there's also a wastage that can happen. So
Mhm.
your purchase decision has to be based on take into account the holding cost. That means if you're buying more, you have to create more space. You have to have more like to monitor it. You know, and also the chances of getting wastage, things like that. Of course, you get discount if you buy more. So
Mhm.
you have to make a decision based on the consumption, based on how much you can consume, right? So more you order, more. I mean, same thing would happen in your own store, right? If you
Mhm.
order more, you get discount, but then you need to have a cooler place. You know, you have to create more space to store that, and if it expires, then you know you have your money would go waste, things like that. So yeah, so we have to make a decision based on that. If you just focus on one, probably you are missing on the other factor. If you just say no, I want every day, then probably you're missing on the discount thing.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So other three things you can probably practice, and we can come back. So what this says is, when you are assigned to a business solving process, when you get a problem like this, these are the steps, you know, recommended steps that we need to follow.
Mhm.
Okay, so first one is research and understand the problem, right? Not all problems could be from your own domain. Not all problems you would understand by looking at the line, right? How does this happen in this industry? Let's say inventory holding cost and supply discount. Let's say you don't know about it, so you need to go and research about what is inventory holding cost, what is supply discount. Then you know analyze and see what is the relationship between holding cost and um, supply discount, etc. So first, research and understand the problem before you proceed. Then verify if the benefit of solving the problem outweighs the cost. So once you understand the problem, next step before you solve, you have to check if the pain, the effort that you are trying, you will be putting in to solve the solution, is that worth at all, right? If the cost
Mhm.
itself is higher than the cost of solving is higher than the benefit that you are going to get from it, then you say no. I mean, we will live with the problem, right?
Mhm.
Um, right. Then third is okay. So now you decided that yeah, this is worth solving. Then define the requirements from the problem. Okay. So what is that a user of the solution, okay, would get from it? Okay. What are the capabilities that they will have? Okay. So for example, we'll just take the last example, of holding cost and supply discount. Let's say you design a system, okay, which will look at the history of your consumption, okay, and then will
Mhm.
suggest you, you know, that you should buy these items on weekly basis, these items on monthly basis, these items in annual basis, right? And this is the quantity that you need to buy, right? So so the user of the system should be able to know which item to buy when and in how much quantity,
Mhm.
right? So that's what requirement. So you're talking about okay, what capabilities am I going to give to the user so that they are able to make a better decision. Okay. So once you understand the requirement, okay, this is what is expected from the solution. Then look at the possible solutions. Okay. Never go with the first solution that comes into your mind. Try to
Mhm.
look at a different solution. Okay. Compare and then say that solving the problem can I mean this is the best way to solve the problem. So first come up with set of solution, at least two, three, four. Then say that out of these four solutions that we have, this is the best way for us, right? Now the best solution out of the four could be different for different business, right? If it's a startup kind of company, probably they would want to get profit sooner, right? They cannot invest probably a lot of money in the upfront, right? So they
Mhm.
would look for solution probably where investment is less and returns is faster. But company like a big company like maybe Walmart, they don't mind spending more money and waiting for longer time if that is going to give them much bigger return, right?
That's right.
So solution, yeah. So solution would depend upon the the risk appetite that you have, the your nature of the business, and a lot of other factors. Based on that, you'll say, for us, for this company, this is the best approach. Now, you might come across same problem across four companies might contact your company, right? Let's say you're working for TCS or IBM, and these companies are contacting you, the pharma companies are contacting you, and they are having exactly the same problem. Let's say, so maybe the one, two, three, four steps would be same for all the four companies, right? You come up with a a possible solution, but the recommended solution can differ for different companies, right? That will be different. Okay, then uh, for now that you have chosen the best one, and of course you have to give justification to create a business case. There's a lot of steps behind each of these steps. These are just the headline kind of thing, right?
Mhm.
Now, based on that, you will define uh, what are the detail of that solution. So this you're probably creating on paper, and you will look at things like cost. This is more of a finance kind of thing, business case kind of thing, where you're talking about benefit, you're talking about cost, and then you're comparing benefit versus cost and saying this is the best solution in this case. Now, now that your management will have to you have to present to somebody, right? Management or somebody, and they
Mhm.
accept it. They say, yeah, this is the best solution that we can have. Now you start working on it. Okay, so you would want to get more detailed requirements from it, right? So you find the details from the chosen solution, and once you have the details, this where you will do elicitation, talking to the user, what are the problems they're facing currently, you know, things like that, and then you come up with the recommended approach, the implementation, and this is
Mhm.
done by the project team. So you'll be just monitoring the implementation, and then you after implementation is done, you go and implement at the customer side. Now you are talking to customer, asking them for maybe 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. You're going to see if the solution that you have designed meets the problem. So we're talking about step three, right? So after eight, you have to go and see if that step three is being met or not. The objectives that you had identified are being met by the solution or not.
Mhm.
Right? So these are the high level eight steps that you have to keep in mind before approaching a problem. So the next we're going to talk about, let's say, on similar line, how it is done in the IT world. Okay, how it could be done in IT world. So let's say your boss comes to you and says that, Sujal, you have to work on this project. Okay,
Mhm.
so what should you do? Okay, the first step that you have to do is called get oriented. Okay, this is about research and things like that. So you have to get oriented towards that project that you are being put into. So clarify your role. Okay, what is my role as a BA? What I'm supposed to do for this project? Okay, what is my deliverables? Who are my stakeholders? Okay, second point is, who are my stakeholders?
Mhm.
To whom I'm going to deliver my findings? To whom I can go and ask questions? Right? Understand the project history. Right? Uh, how long this project has already been into place, what happened to the previous projects if we had with the same customer, um, are we having a good term with the customer or not, are they a happy customer or angry customer, so things like that, so that you don't repeat the same mistake that others have done or others have worked on. So just to if you understand what the current status, right? So you will go into history and check everything, and you will avoid. Now, problem what happens with many of these things, and we are also facing is there are different teams. Okay, sales team, pre-sales team, consulting team, and when you go to customer, they ask same set of questions. Now, When you go and ask questions, the customer will answer for the first time, they'll happily answer. Now, if I also go and answer the same question, they'll get angry. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that, didn't you talk to Sujal? Isn't he your colleague? Before I go
Yeah.
and talk to customer, I should talk to you and get all the information that you have already done. So what that will save my time, and also not create unnecessary confusion. So you have to look at the history, understand the history, get all the information before you actually jump into it. Okay. The last point it says is understand the existing system. What kind of system they are using? So they will be using some system, right? Because the problem they are facing, they maybe they are not. The system is not 100% effective. That's where they're looking for your help. But they must have some system. They will have some system. It could be manual. It could be paper based, right? But still they have. So go and check what kind of system they're using. What is the problem from those systems? And why they want to replace those system with the new system. So this is called getting oriented towards your role as a BA. Second step, now that you understand what your role is, understand what's the primary business objective of this project. Okay, so you know your stakeholders. What are they looking from this project? What will you give them so that they're happy, basically, right? Why? So it's like asking why behind the project. Why this project? Okay, reconcile conflicting expectations so that the business community begins the project with a shared understanding. When you go and talk to your stakeholders, your manager, and other people, you might see conflicting expectations. Your stakeholder one will say, "I need a solution which is faster, quicker." Right? Second, uh, second customer would say, so second customer would say that I'm looking for something which is more accurate. I don't care about the speed. Now, that is conflicting objectives, right? So let's say I have two students, you and other one, and
Mm-hmm.
you say that I don't have problem with the time, and I can, but explain me in detail. I want to understand each and everything. There's another student who says that I want to finish it quickly. Just give me overview of the BA and I can learn on my own. Now that's the conflicting expectations for me, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you reconcile it? Okay, you cannot. So here I can say, okay, let's have a two different timing and two different class, or let's do overview first, then we'll come back and redo whatever. So, but that is okay. But when they're asking you about same solution, same project, having two different kind of behavior, it is difficult, right? Now, so what do? You have to. So as a BA, they say that don't run away from conflicting expectations. Okay, especially from the project, you should sort it out. Okay, now when you say sort it out, because when you have conflicting responses, then that means that that area needs more study. Okay, you want to understand why one guy is saying fast or one guy is saying more accuracy, right? So you will get into it and see the who's right? Or it could be that you have to probably deliver both. Then the cost of the project might go up, right? So it's saying that reconcile, bring them on table, say that you both are speaking conflicting. Now tell me what is right. You also do your own research, and then you say finally you come up with one approach, right? So and also ensure that the business objectives are clear. You know why you are there on the project, why the project is required in first place, and what is that you are going to deliver. What is the expectation from you for the project? Everything is clear before you actually even take one single step towards the goal, right? Then define the scope. Define the scope means, and I don't know if you discussed last time. Scope is the the work that you're supposed to do. We discussed yesterday, right? That if you're working on say loan management application, when somebody talks about HR or something else, you say no, that is beyond my scope. That is not part of the scope. Okay. Sujal, give me a minute. I'll just be back. Okay, just a
Okay.
minute. Sujal,
Mhm.
yeah. So we'll probably wrap up in next 10 minutes or so. Today is my son's first day at school.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no problem. That's fine.
Okay, so we'll wrap up and we'll meet tomorrow at the same time. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. So defined scope is about um, uh, what is that they're looking from this project. Okay, and also talk about what is that they're not looking from this project. Okay, so see, loan management application and payroll, they're two different application. So you don't have to mention there that payroll system is not part of it because there was two totally different aspects. But there could be something which are similar. I'm just guessing. Okay, let's say for loan
Mhm.
application, you need to check for people, the appliers or applicants' credit history.
Great history. Yeah.
So no, so you can say that credit history is not part of this project. Maybe they already have a system that does that. You need to communicate, integrate that system with this system. But developing credit history is not part of it. Okay.
Mhm.
So you define what is called a solution approach to determine the nature and extent of technology and business process changes to be made. So you're capturing the changes that needs to be made so that the objectives can be implemented. And you draft a scope statement. So scope statement will say one, two, three, four, and we'll see examples. Okay, later. This is a session one where we are talking more about BA at a high level. Okay.
Mhm.
Once we are done with this, then we get into each process in detail. So you are drafting a scope statement. Okay, that one, two, three, four. These are the things in scope. And sometimes if you have a closer or which you think is probably very similar, you do mention that I spoke to so and they said that these things are not part of the scope. One, two, three, four. Okay, so that to avoid confusion. And then before you move ahead before go away from this drafting scope statement. You have to get signed approval from all your stakeholders. In fact, there is a way where you can actually sign. So you need to get a signed approval uh, uh, from your stakeholders saying yes, this is what we agree to. Because after you deliver the solution, if they say no, this is not what I wanted, you know there could be a lot of mess around it. See, when everything
Mhm.
goes well, everything is fine. When something that doesn't go well, that's when all these document and all those things will come
Come
out,
down.
right? Then they'll say no. Developer will say, see, this is what BA gave me, and this is what I did. You will say this is what I had drafted, and this is what I got from customer, and the customer
Mhm.
says no, this is not what I gave you, right? So there's a way where they actually it's signed actually. So that's why you see until they're prepared to sign off or buy in to the document that you have created. So customer say yes, Sujal, you are right. These are exactly the things that I want to. Once you have the scope document, then you move ahead and perform okay your plan for business analysis. Now so scope document is kind of your task list. Okay,
Mhm.
and then you say okay to perform these tasks as a BA, what plan I have to create. So it says what kind of deliverables is required, what kind of documents you need, what kind of templates you will need, whom do you talk to, like who are the people that you'll be talking to, okay, and what are the deliverables that each person is looking for, right? So you will create that plan, okay, timeline. Okay, so first week I'm going to travel to so and so site, talk to these people, and ask them about this type kind of questions. Okay, then
Mhm.
you will actually perform illustration and create a detailed requirement. So this is what URS that you're talking about, is the requirement specification of business requirement document, BRD. Step 5 is when you create this document after talking to the users. Okay, stakeholders are nothing but your users who's going to use your application. So the system that you're going to develop will be used by somebody else. So those are the people who will tell you what they want, what they're looking for. Okay. Then this is once you create the BRD, it goes to technical team. They're going to deliver. So see, it says review the design, okay, review the documentation, engage with the QA people to understand the context of technical requirements and the testing and things like that. Make yourself available to answer questions. Manage requirements changes. Okay, so I'll talk about this later. So till that point, till the last, first 4 points, it's all about review. You are there to answer their question. You are there to review their work. Okay, but these are done by the project management team. Second last point, which is very unique to IT projects only, is change request. Okay. Now you have got all the requirements. You started working on the project. After 1 month, customer calls you. Sujal, what we discussed earlier is probably not valid now. We got acquired, we got merged, our business is closing, we are expanding, whatever will be the reason. Or I got it wrong, I got correct information, this is the latest information. I want to change what I told you earlier.
Mm-hmm.
See, when you start building a bridge, then you cannot say that Sujal, we need to extend the width by 1 more feet, because that may not be possible, right? Because extending 1 more feet would require changing the pillars and things like that, which I've already probably put it. But in software, you can actually delete, edit the code, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that's the advantage of software, that you can redo the work. But then there's also disadvantage that people will keep asking you to redo,
Redo it.
right? And also makes sense, right? If something which is not relevant for them, then there's no point doing it. So sometimes what happens, so when the change request comes in, you as a BA and the project manager will sit together and study those each change requests.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so is those change requests valid? Sometimes you will reject it. Not possible. Sometimes you'll accept it. Let's say if you have not started building that portion, you'll say, okay, we'll take it and we will do it. Sometimes you say that this is this will take us extra time, so we need to extend the scope, time, budget for this project. Okay. Sometimes you say that this is totally different requirement, we need to scrap the current project and start again from fresh. Do you want to do that, right? So depending upon how important, how trivial, how big that request is, change request is, you will create an appropriate plan. So there's a separate process altogether called as change request management, CR, change request
Mm-hmm.
management process. And there we are evaluating the impact of the change request on the overall project. This is after you have performed your activity and it is with the project team while building the solution. That's when customer comes and they want a change. So what kind of impact it can have? Okay, so then, okay, um, and you will have a appropriate response. Last point, it says when appropriate, leading user acceptance testing. Yeah, so this is handing it over to the customer. So you still talk about user acceptance testing, UAT. Before customer accepts your solution, they will perform some tests from their behalf, right? Not that they're going to do exhaustive testing, but minimal testing so that they're happy to use to buy your or accept your solution. So you
Mm-hmm.
are involved in that process. So this is where you are like supporting the technical implementation, and finally implement it. You were, of course, you'll not be the one who is implementing it. There'll be a implementation team, consulting team, business IT team, and those guys will be involved. But you have to make sure that it's your product, right? If they implement it in wrong way and customer is not getting benefit out of it, they will come to you. They'll put blame on you that you give a bad solution. So that's why you are also involved to an extent to make sure that implementation is done correctly. Okay. um, Sometimes you might have to train the user because let's say your solution is complex, and so you have to you know include training also as part of your project. So you have, yeah, so again, as a BA, not that you will train it, but you have to make arrangements so that the the users are trained on using new application. Okay, and collaborate with business users to update other organizational assets. And finally, step 8, which is after implementation, not immediately, but after let's say 3 months, 6 months, you go back and evaluate how happy the users are. Are they getting benefits from the solution? The requirements that they told you, are those requirements being met here? Right? So this is called measurement, value measurement. Okay. So we'll stop here, Sujal. We've come almost end of session one. So I'm going to talk about, and after this, I have a couple of slides. We'll talk about new technology, which which will help you to understand because you come from non-IT background. So we'll talk
Mhm.
about what are the latest and greatest technologies that are there in the market today from IT perspective, and these are the steps, okay, as per the IIBA, International Institute of Business Analyst. So this is the
Mhm.
syllabus that they have given. So we'll talk about each of these areas. So we have done our basic, okay, and the intention is that by now you should have known whether BA is the right course for you or not. Okay,
That's right.
so that was the intention. So you should know at a high level what BA does, what is the expectation from BA. Uh, I mean, not in detail, but at a high level you should be aware of. Now you'll be feeling comfortable. You should feel comfortable talking about BA to others, okay,
That's right.
at
Yeah.
a high level. Yeah, so that's what the intention was. After this, we'll get deeper into each of these areas. So yellow
Mhm.
that you see are the areas which happens in sequence, and on top you see the green and pink. So those are steps or the stages which happens across all four stages. Okay, so
Mhm.
we'll come back to it tomorrow. Is that fine? Sujal?
Yeah, that's okay. So, what time tomorrow you think is good?
Same
Same
time.
time?
We'll come in
Okay.
at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay then. Bye.
Okay.
Thanks.
No worries. See you then.
Bye. Yeah,
Bye.
see you. Bye.